11 truckloads full of supplies, and they're deploying a 90-person chainsaw team. So many fallen trees across the state. Here right now, I'm on the Ole Miss campus in Oxford, Mississippi, and it's just downed trees everywhere.
FBI agents in Georgia have executed a search warrant at the Fulton County Main Election Office just south of Atlanta. A source tells CBS News the investigation is in connection with the 2020 election. Democratic State Senator Josh McLaurin.
Here we are. It's January 2026, and now Donald Trump is dispatching FBI officials from Maine FBI, I guess in D.C., to try to disrupt county election administration here in Georgia.
The center stores election equipment and serves as office space for multiple Fulton County agencies. Senators are on Capitol Hill trying to avoid another government shutdown. CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns also on the Hill.
Both sides are talking. There are bipartisan groups talking about this measure. But where it stands right now, Democrats are saying that they will not support this funding package unless it includes serious reforms to DHS.
The deadline to pass the spending bill is Friday. Secretary of State Marco Rubio testifies before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee about the path forward in Venezuela. CBS's Michael Wallace reports.
Rubio said President Trump tried repeatedly to get President Nicolas Maduro to step down before okaying his capture earlier this month.
You couldn't make a deal with this guy.
Structure up to speed.
That's the end state that we want. Free, fair, prosperous, and friendly Venezuela. We're not going to get there in 3 weeks. It's going to take some time.
Delaware Democratic Senator Chris Coons said the administration should have consulted with Congress before going into Venezuela. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
CBS's Stacey Lynn with a recall of a popular baby snack.
Gerber is recalling some of its arrowroot biscuits after tiny pieces of plastic or paper were found in the snacks. The company says the problem came from a supplier and no other Gerber products are affected. While no injuries have been reported, it says it is taking action out of an abundance of caution. If you have the biscuits, don't feed them to your child. Return them to the store for a full refund.
Samsung Electronics posts a record fourth quarter profit on AI demand. This is CBS News.
Take control of your financial life. Follow and listen to Money Watch with Jill Schlesinger on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-990-3434. That's 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434.
Good afternoon. Still slow to go as they do some emergency road work on Briley Parkway eastbound at Whites Creek Pike. Again, it's still extra slow in that area. It's also starting to pick up pretty good now on 24 East here at Briley Parkway. At times it's a little bit heavy headed out towards Haywood Lane as it picks up even more now. 24 out into Rutherford County. STR Towing and Recovery says if you need their help here in Middle Tennessee, no matter for a car or a truck, STR Towing and Recovery. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Local farmers, local meats, vegetables, and other produce at the Winter Spring Rutherford County Farmers Market.
Up and make your way every Friday at Lane Agri Park.
Rutherford weather.
Increasing clouds expected for tonight. Patchy fog develops too as temperatures fall back to 15. Patchy fog will continue into Thursday morning. Otherwise, a mix of sun and clouds and a high around 41. I'm meteorologist Regina Kroll from the WGNS Rutherford Weather Center. Right now, it's 35 degrees.
We do it your way. Sir Pizza.
Join the team at Murfreesboro's favorite pizza restaurant. Sir Pizza is now hiring at all 3 locations. Come by and be part of the team at Sir Pizza.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at WGNSradio.com.
From the first pitch to the final buzzer, this is where the conversation starts. All sports talk on WGNS and Big G TV, covering the Preps, MTSU, news from Tennessee and nationwide. Now, here's All Sports Talk on the Good Neighbor Network.
And a good Wednesday evening to all of you listening in. This is All Sports Talk on the Good Neighbor Network. That is WGNS. Dylan Simmons with you, and hopefully everybody is unfrozen after the, what do they call it, a once-in-a-lifetime winter event that we just had this past weekend. But never fear, we have made it through the snow, we've made it through the ice, at least for the most part, and we're back and we're ready for another phenomenal show. Tonight on All Sports Talk, I'm pleased to be joined by a very special guest, a man I know quite well. We've had some fun memories. We even went to pick up a futon one time, and that ended in a very strange situation, but we may get more into that later. Joining me tonight is Mr. Jacob Burgess from MTSU Sidelines and MTN Sports. Jacob, how's it going tonight?
Dylan, it's going pretty good. Got out of the snow. Did not go play in it much, though. I think I've reached the point where I'm done with the snow when it comes. I'll just stay in the house for a while.
Well, you've always been a fan of like warmer climates anyway. You don't really care for when it gets like 20 degrees, right?
No.
Yeah. That's not really your thing. I want people to get a sense of what all you do, because I think you're one of the busiest men, busiest undergrads at least, that we have at MTSU. You are responsible for a lot of different things. So if you would, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people and let them know what it is that you're all about.
So I'm the co-sports editor at MTSU Sidelines, in student newspaper that's currently in year 100.
Yes.
So for the people able to see the video broadcast, you can kind of see the hair. Had a little background on that, along with being the sports director at Middle Tennessee News. And so both of those organizations covering all things MTSU related when it comes to sports, and then local high school athletics in the greater Middle Tennessee area. For Sidelines, we're going to SCJC next week. It's going to be a great time in Cartersville, Georgia. Middle Tennessee News, we're currently in the midst of tennis season, and so real busy with that, along with we do have our award-winning sports show in the fall, Blue Raider Extra Point, that we do during football season. So make sure you can go back and watch past episodes of that.
Yes.
And watch next season's episodes as Derek Mason tries to right the ship.
Yes. Those will be coming up in 2026. That started, I think BREP itself started probably 5 years ago. I was actually the host of that show a couple years ago myself, and we may be a little biased, but I think it's a fantastic show, and you want to check out those tennis broadcasts too. We'll get more into that later. The hair. So a lot of people may be confused about Jacob's current hair situation here, but there's a fun story behind it. So Jacob, I think the people want to know what's going on up there on the old Chrome Dome.
So, as a part of MTSU Sidelines last semester, we have a 12-person editorial staff. We had 7 new members.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Big change.
Yeah.
A lot of people learning a lot of new things. We had probably 2 to 3 dozen new writers for us last semester. And so, mid-August, I go to our multimedia editor and then our social media editor. And I say, hey, let's make a deal. If we can grow the following by 1,000 people, we're sitting at just over 3,000.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the 3,050 to 3,100 range.
Sure.
And go, if we can grow it by 1,000 by the end of the semester, which was officially December 12th. I had it marked on the calendar. Then I would get a haircut that involved buzzing my hair, bleaching it, and then putting these beautiful blue stars, which I got to say, the team over at Pastime Barbers did a great job.
Shout out.
It could have gone a lot worse, but I think it's the best it could be.
I mean, I'm looking at it, and I think it worked out pretty well. I mean, you said you thought it was, and I quote, fire when I first saw you with it. I'm not going to lie. I was a little flabbergasted. I was in shock. I was stunned. It's like walking in on the refrigerator when it's empty. It's that kind of shock when you first see it. But, I think you've grown into it pretty well, and I like that you've embraced it, and you said you're going to rock it for, I think, the rest of the semester, right?
As long as it keeps growing out, I mean, you can, if you really look up close, you can see the roots are starting to grow out. It's my natural kind of like brownish, dark, dirty blonde type hair,
Yeah.
But as long as it's there, I'll keep having it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's a good look. I think it's a signature look. As much as I would like to talk about Jacob's hair for the rest of the show, we do have some business to get down to here tonight. You got to see a part of history, actually, this past week on Friday night. I was about to say Saturday night. Friday night, Middle Tennessee took on Liberty in women's basketball. You cover women's basketball for MTSU Sidelines. That's one of your main beats. And like I said, history took place. Rick Insell getting to 500 career wins with a dominant finish to that game. We'll get more into that a little bit later, but let's talk about the game itself. 20-point fourth quarter, a 63-54 win for MTSU. What did you make of MTSU's performance late to take charge against the Flames in that one?
It all started with defense. That's one thing that Coach Insell has really hounded on with his young team. I mean, he has 13 players, and 5 of them are non-freshmen.
Yeah.
And so he's starting 3 freshmen. Most of his people off the bench are freshmen for him. And so they focus on defense. They shut down Avery Mills and Emmy Stout, the Liberty 2 leading scorers. Together, they average roughly 30 points a game. And then against the Blue Raiders, they scored 20. And so, I mean, that's 10 points that you stop them from scoring on any given night.
Big difference, yeah.
And so it was really the second half defense along with that boost of scoring because they had no problem scoring in the first half.
Yeah.
But they were able to shut down Liberty in those final 10 minutes to pick up that victory.
Yeah, and that's really what's been impressing me about the team more and more as time's gone on. Is I think that the defense has been getting better. They've been getting more disciplined. They're having better complete games, and that's really funneling into their overall performance. And you wouldn't expect anything less from a Coach Insell coach team because they kind of learn more from him as the season goes on, and we've seen that year after year. So I don't think that's a big shock. Blair Bogus, she's been an absolute freshman phenom so far this year. 22 points on the night in that game, was named CUSA Freshman of the Week for the 6th time this year, which that's got to be closing in on some kind of record, I would think. What do you make of her development as a player, and how big of an impact has she had on the Lady Raiders this season?
I mean, she is their offense.
Yeah.
They bring the ball down the court, they give it to Blair on the block, and then one or two things happens. Blair gets double teamed and she kicks it out for the open 3 attempt, or they swing it around that way, or Blair doesn't get double teamed and she goes to the rink on whoever her defender is. And this year in Conference USA, it's somebody who's size wise matched up to her pretty well.
Yeah.
That or smaller. There are very few people that are extremely taller than her or not. I mean, Emmy Stout for Liberty is one of the few that gets real minutes in the conference that is that much bigger than Blair.
Right.
And so she's able to go up against people who are her size, sometimes smaller, and just go to the rink.
Yeah.
And it's led her to having these, double-digit performance night in and night out. There was a point where she had 3 straight double-doubles for the Lady Raiders, missed out on number 4, I think it was a few rebounds short that night. But she is their entire offense. They run it through her and then build everything off of that.
Yeah, and it's so awesome for them to have like a dynamic playmaker like Blair Bogus. And I think what impresses me about her is that she has taken to, and not to say that high school and college are completely separate kinds of games, but she's taken to it so well. A lot of times it's hard for a freshman to come in and immediately have a huge impact because you're still kind of learning the system, the program, learning what the coach is trying to tell you, and she's taken to it like a fish out of water, or a fish in water, I guess I should say. Just ignore that last little comparison I had. But you catch my drift, and man, in general, though, freshmen are dominating college basketball, seems like on the men's and women's side this season, so it's really impressive to see what a lot of these freshmen have been able to do. How do you think MTSU, I want to talk about this especially because this was a big sticking point for me going into this game. How do you think MTSU was able to respond in this game on Friday night, especially after the disappointment that they suffered the night before? Because I think a lot of people thought they'd be able to close it out against Delaware. Didn't quite work out for them. So how did they put that behind them and focus on this game in your mind?
Well, I mean, with the snow, obviously they had to move the game up.
Right.
And Macy Pfeiffer said it in the post-game press conference after Liberty. We didn't have time to think about it.
Yeah.
We had another game within 24 hours that we had to be ready for. And so they didn't have time to think about losing to Delaware. Because obviously, Delaware, the first chance to pick up 500. There likely was some added stress, Coaches and players both say that there wasn't much, but, I mean, you could feel it in the arena. Inside Murphy was packed.
Yes.
One of the biggest crowds I've seen outside of like the school day events they do.
Sure.
For a basketball game. And you could tell there was some extra emotions. There was probably some added stress.
Yeah.
And so to not get it on attempt 1 and then attempt 2 being 24 hours later, you don't really have time to think about it. You have to, at the end of the day, they're still trying to win a conference championship. And Rick likes to say, well, they didn't hand out any trophies tonight. Right?
Yeah. I've heard that a time or two.
So many times.
Yes.
They didn't hand out any trophies when they beat Liberty.
Yeah.
They did hand out a key to the city.
They
no
did
trophies,
do that.
though.
Yeah, they did do that.
And I think all Rick really cares about are more trophies.
Yeah, that's the end goal with Rick Insell. Every year, year in, year out, he's going to be going for more conference titles and more NCAA tournament berths, and I think that's kind of his goal for this team this year, and I think they certainly have the capability to do so with what they've been able to do so far in Conference USA. Still a lot of tough games to come, but they're getting better and better, and they got off to, I think, a 4-0 start in CUSA play, so they're on the right track as far as that goes. This is another question that kind of goes back to what we were talking about with them putting behind the Delaware loss. But with all of the stuff and everything surrounding the Friday game and, Rick obviously getting close to 500, that I think had to take a lot from the players to hone in and focus on, hey, this is just a game. Let's just focus on tonight, get this done, and we'll worry about the celebrations and all that after the fact. And do you think that that's kind of the mentality they went with, and did they talk about that at all?
I think you'd have to go with that mentality. After the Delaware loss, they just kind of said, yeah, we didn't play a good basketball game. I mean, they scored 2 points in the third quarter against Delaware.
Yeah.
And Savannah Davis in the postgame was asked about the fourth quarter response that they had because they scored 23 points, I'm pretty sure, in the fourth quarter against Delaware.
Right.
And she just said, well, the third quarter was quite an embarrassment. It can't get much worse. I mean, you scored 2 points.
Yeah,
you could score 0 or 1 or whatever it is.
Yeah, Delaware played some good defense that night,
they
too.
did.
Yeah.
And so after a game like Delaware where you have a really bad third quarter, you just have to flush it and move on. And so when you go into Liberty, they're just trying to pick up another win.
Yeah.
Right? Rick also likes to say that the only win he cares about is the next one. Everybody was asking him about 500. I remember they were in Kennesaw. He's on the ESPN broadcast. I'm watching it on TV, and the courtside reporter there asked about being on 500 watch, and Rick goes, "It is what it is."
Yeah, that's a classic Rick Insell response. I mean, Rick is a no-nonsense, focus on the singular game kind of guy, and he's going to give you that response regardless. I remember they put out, I think it was MT Athletics put out a social media post, and you probably saw this. They put together this great video package, and shout out to them for putting that together because it was spectacular. But they sat him down in a theater or something, and he went to go watch this, he and Deb, his wife, and after all that was done, I remember him being like, well, yep. That was good. Time to get back to work. And I was like, wow. But he's razor focused. And I think that's why he's been so successful is that he does not let circumstances get a hold of him. He just focuses on one game to the next and lets that kind of be his calling card. So that to me was pretty cool to see. Last question before we go to break here. We'll make this quick. But this is a pretty young team, and I've talked about that a lot before on the broadcast. But as far as what you've seen from them this year, how do you think they've built and learned as time's gone on, and especially having to learn as a young squad this season?
It's all experience, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, they were all very good high school players at their respective schools.
Sure.
And now you have to put all those pieces together and turn it into a rotation of players that are very good college players. And that will come with time and more experience, right? Looking at these players 3 years down the line when they're seniors, who knows what level they could reach.
Right.
But right now, they're just trying to make it through day by day. And they're learning the offense better. They're learning the defense better. Just stacking those small things in order to continue making improvements. So, end of season, could they be competing for a conference championship in Huntsville? It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
Top 10 teams out of the conference make it. There's 12 in there. Will they make the tournament? I'd say yes.
Yeah.
How far they get, though, really depends on can they smack stack those small things together
Yes.
when they're in Huntsville.
Yeah, little things, execution, and I'm sure that that's what Coach Insell is trying to impart on them so far. We will talk more about Rick Insell's historic 500th victory when we come back, and we'll also talk about MTSU men's tennis and their electric start to the season. Myself, Jacob Burgess, right here on All Sports Talk. We'll be right back.
Jennings & Ayers Funeral Home has served Murfreesboro families with compassion and care since 1880. As a family-owned funeral home, we're committed to honoring every life with dignity through traditional services, cremation options, and pre-planning that gives you peace of mind. For over 140 years, we've been here when it matters most. Visit JenningsandAyers.com. Jennings & Ayers Funeral Home, honoring life and comforting families since 1880.
WGNS. Our family at Demas's Restaurant are proud to support local emergency responders who put their lives on the line for our community each and every day. This is Peter Demas, and here is this week's Demas's Emergency Responder of the Week.
Murfreesboro police officer Dustin Nicholson talked a woman off the bridge over I-24 on the Medical Center Parkway. She'd climbed over the railing and was moments before falling. Officer Nicholson spoke to her calmly, trying to ease her panic. When words were no longer enough, he quickly secured her and pulled the woman back to safety. Thank you, Murfreesboro Police Officer Dustin Nicholson.
When you see a firefighter, police officer, paramedic, or telecommunicator going the extra mile, let WGNS know, and we at Demas's Restaurant will salute them as the Emergency Responder of the Week.
Whether you need general vehicle upkeep and maintenance or a complete vehicle overhaul, Hall's Auto Care is here for you. We're locally owned and operated by Greg Hall and have been in business since 2014. You'll get excellent service and trustworthy advice with Hall's Auto Care. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. We're ready to help get you safely on the road. Hall's Auto Care, 907 Ridgely Road, just off Broad Street behind Chili's. Online at hallsautocare.net. Hall's Auto Care.
In Rutherford County, you know how much it means to have neighbors you can count on. I'm State Farm Agent Andy Wommel, here to help life go right when you combine home and auto insurance. Call me today at 615-890-0850 and let me save you money and time. Your home, your auto, together they're where life happens. I'm State Farm Agent Andy Wommel. It's smart to protect them together to help life go right. Give me a call at 615-890-0850 and let me help you save by combining your home and auto.
Are you paying too much for home and auto insurance? Let the experienced professionals at My Team Insurance in Murfreesboro help. With decades of experience, their team provides superior customer service, low rates, and a clear understanding of your coverage needs. Whether it's home, auto, health, business, or life insurance, My Team Insurance makes protection simple and affordable. Visit myteaminsurance.com today. That's myteaminsurance.com. My Team Insurance, proud supporters of the Blue Raiders.
Good afternoon. Still slow go as they do some emergency road work on Briley Parkway eastbound at Whites Creek Pike. Again, it's still extra slow in that area. It's also starting to pick up pretty good now on 24 East here at Briley Parkway. At times it's a little bit heavy headed out towards Haywood Lane as it picks up even more now at 24 out into Rutherford County. STR Towing and Recovery says if you need your help here in Middle Tennessee, no matter for a car or a truck, STR Towing and Recovery. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
It's all sports talk from the Good Neighbor Network, FM 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, WGNSradio.com, and Big G TV.
It is another winning Wednesday here on All Sports Talk. Dylan Simmons with you here live from the WGNS studio, the Good Neighbor Network. Joined alongside Jacob Burgess, MTN Sports Director and one of the lead co-sports editor, I guess, for Sidelines is his official title. So a man of many talents, and he's here talking MTSU women's basketball and the historic 500th victory for Rick Insell that happened on Friday. Let's get back into that, Jacob, because when we talk about the history-making head coach, Rick Insell, even though the videos on social media give you the gravitas and the importance of the moment, as somebody who was there in person, what was that moment like?
Well, going into halftime, you thought this was going to be a challenge in the second half. Elizabeth Iasdottir for Liberty comes down, bangs a three to take them in the half, go up two.
Yeah.
Rick talked about halftime in his post-game presser. They spent the first part of halftime real upset.
Yeah.
And then the second part trying to figure out how to not be upset at the end of the night. And so then they come out second half, they dominate the fourth quarter, and they put it far enough away in the fourth to where you're like, okay, this could happen. I think the smallest deficit in the fourth quarter, the smallest lead was 9 points?
9 points?
8 or 9 points.
Yeah.
And so you're like, they have a 10-point lead with about a minute and a half to go or so. And like, Liberty's starting to make a charge, maybe a final like minute thing. MTSU's in foul trouble. 4 of their 5 on the floor had 4 fouls. 2 of them ended up fouling out. Blair and Kirsten ended up both fouling out. And like, oh, this is getting iffy.
Yeah.
But they were able to put it away at the end. And had a little insight. Was told a little bit about what could happen during the entire post-game 500 celebration.
Right.
Going into it. So we were told it was going to be about a 45-minute event.
Yeah.
Podium, confetti, former players, the whole 9 yards.
Sure.
And so it took a while.
Yeah.
I will say. It was very cool, though. I mean, they had confetti. They did not lie about that. A lot of players came back, former players, from not just the MTSU days, but the Shelbyville days, too.
Yeah. And
so it was very cool. Rick was very excited. It was excited for Rick. He smiled. I think he laughed a time or two, which was more than I've ever seen. And so he got a key to the city from Murfreesboro mayor.
Mm-hmm.
It is now Rick Enzo Day.
Yes, that's right.
Within city limits every year now. And so it was a big ordeal. Obviously a big accomplishment. And it was like hearing Rick, he's like, I'm only worried about the next win, all that. And then he's super excited in the moment.
Yes.
And it's like, well, those two don't add up. But congrats, Coach.
Yeah.
Good job.
I think with Coach Insel as well, he was probably in the moment thinking about how, I'm excited, but I can't I can't let my demeanor be different than what it usually is. Because I'm sure in the back of his mind, and I think this is just the way he thinks, he's thinking about the conference championship and keeping this team on the right path, and he realizes they've got some tough games ahead, so I'm not going to change anything about how I'm acting or what I'm doing, other than, I'm showing a smile and showing some enthusiasm, because of course it's a big moment for him, but I think he's thinking 2 steps ahead. It's a constant game of chess, I think, with Coach Insel. For someone who doesn't know Coach Insel, they may not understand just how intense and passionate that he is when it comes to the game of basketball. He's got a competitive character and a desire to win that I think is just contagious to people, and especially some of those players on that team. What kind of attributes do you think that he has as a coach with your time studying him, writing about him, getting to know him, whatever the case may be? What do you think he has that helps him to get a level above some of the other competition?
He said it in the postgame, loyalty. He wants to go down as being the most loyal person you know.
Yeah.
Right? Whether that's with his friends, his players, his staff, their SID, Jake Golob, he mentioned, he's like, Jake's with me all the time in the summer. He can tell you, we go golfing all the time. I'll get my whole friend group out there.
Yeah.
Most loyal person out there. They call me, I'm there. And so, obviously, the wins are a big deal. Also, I think it's you talked about the drive to compete. I've been able to go to practice a few times, and Rick Enzo, if you don't know him, is probably 5'6"?
Yeah, 5'6", 5'7", something like that. Yeah.
He's not the tallest person ever. He's early 70s in age, and I've watched him box out his players before, and the practice players, because he wants them to do something better, and he's like, I'll show you how to do it then. And so you see these videos, and I've watched it live, to where he's in the middle of a drill, showing one of his players how he wants something done.
Yes.
And he's getting up there in age, early 70s now, and he's still out there in practice as if he was, a college kid himself.
Yeah, that's the thing about Rick. He is, I think, under the mindset that he will not ask his players to do something that he wouldn't do himself, or he wouldn't try to do himself. And he's about what's that old Jim McKay quote? Execution. He's all about execution, especially out there on the basketball court. So he's going to do his best to get his team on the right track and get them playing the brand of basketball that he wants to see. And he'll do whatever it takes to make that happen. So he's definitely a special kind of coach as far as that goes. I think something, though, that people overlook, and this is something that we both know, is that he was a tremendous high school basketball coach. He was at Shelbyville Central High School and won well over 500 games while he was there, won 10 state championships, even had a stretch of 110 consecutive wins before he even got to the Lady Raiders. So when you talk about impact and reach, this is a guy who is recognized not just in college, but in high school circles as well. So he's got a far-reaching impact across the mid-state in both ranks.
He really does. You look at those high school accomplishments, 10 state championships in 15 tries. Like, he made the state championship game 15 times and won 10 of them. We were looking at him the other day. In 28 seasons, he won 23 district championships.
Wow.
And talking to a guest you had on previous, Willie Fayler.
Yes.
He also calls radio for Shelbyville basketball.
Right.
And he's like, he lost it 5 times?
Yeah. Yeah.
Couldn't believe that he had lost the district 5 times. Not the fact that he won it 23 times.
Yeah.
Just the fact that there were 5 seasons where he didn't win it. And then jumps to the college ranks and he's talked about it a bunch, but Chris Massaro took a chance on him.
Yeah.
Because current director of athletics at MTSU, Chris Massaro, his first hire was Rick Insell.
Yep. A lot of people forget that, too.
Needed a basketball coach. One of the highest accomplished coaches in the state of Tennessee is 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
40 if you get stuck in traffic.
Yeah, it depends which route you take to Shelbyville, but yeah.
40 minutes away. Why not bring him up? See if he can make the jump. And then to accomplish, all the accomplishments at MTSU, the 500 wins, of course. Multiple titles here within CUSA.
Yeah.
And so, it is a really big jump.
Yeah. It's a big jump, but I'm under the philosophy, and I'm sure you've seen this as well, that a winner at one level can win anywhere if given the right circumstances and the right people to work around. And Rick Insell, he embodies the term winner. Anytime that you talk to him, I've gotten to interview him a few times, like post-game or in the middle of a game for women's basketball. And, he doesn't always say the most in those moments, but what he says is what you really want to keep an eye on, because it's like imparting a form of basketball wisdom onto people. And it's pretty cool to hear that from him. And I will say he 100% deserves all the accolades and all the celebrations that have come with getting 500 wins. And I think Chris Massaro did take a chance on him because, like you mentioned at the time, he was a high school coach. We don't often see that. A high school coach immediately coming up to the college ranks and having success. A lot of times you'll see like an assistant from another college or a former head coach will come over, but that was not the case with Rick Insell, and yet it's been such a big thing for MTSU. And gosh, now when you talk about some of the greatest coaches in MTSU history, iconic sports figures, as far as the Blue Raiders go, I think Rick Insell's got to be right up there, right?
I think he has to be.
Yeah.
He spent the past nearly 50 years coaching basketball in the Middle Tennessee area.
That's wild to think about. 50 years.
Originally from Woodbury.
Yeah.
Went to MTSU. Coached at Shelbyville.
Mm-hmm.
Went back to MTSU to coach.
Yeah.
He did coach junior high for 2 years in between MTSU and Shelbyville.
Right.
I'll give him. We can give him that too.
Yeah.
He has only ever coached basketball. And before he was coaching basketball, he was playing basketball. He eats, sleeps, and breathes basketball.
That is an obsession, but it's a good obsession when it comes to winning. And Rick Insell has certainly done a lot of that. This will be our last question about Coach Insell on today's show. This is kind of a hyperbolic question, but as far as legacy goes, the legacy he's left at MTSU, what he's done for the women's basketball program, if you were to ask somebody, or somebody was to ask you, I guess I should say, what legacy has Coach Insell left in his time at MTSU so far, what would you say about that?
He's the winningest head coach in MTSU history.
Yes.
He's been there for 20 years. Not the longest tenured coach amongst MTSU athletics, but definitely the winningest one.
Mm-hmm.
In the area, too.
Yeah.
He embodies basketball in Middle Tennessee.
Yes.
At any level. I mean, you could ask people all the time. Now, I don't know how much longer he will coach. He did mention in his post-game presser after Liberty that he sat down with Chris Massaro somewhere around win 460. And it was kind of a Massaro saying, hey, you have the job for as long as you want it.
Right.
And so 500 wins kind of seems like the last big accomplishment that could happen within the next few years. I know I've talked to him before. He wants to make the Sweet 16.
Sure.
I think a few years ago when they had that team that made the run at LSU, that was probably the best chance. I don't know if this current team this year could do it. 4 years down the line, if they all stay, could they? Yes, but I mean, that's a long time to wait. And so this could be his last year, he said. But he's also said that before, and, you know, he's
come
been
back.
yeah.
Right.
First time I heard of him saying that was about 5 years ago from a former editor we had at Sidelines. And he's still here.
Yeah.
So who knows if he's actually done.
Yeah.
I know he said before that as long as he keeps waking up and he's happy to show up, then he's going to keep showing up.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. I agree with Mr. Massaro as far as he's earned the right to stay as long as he wants for what he's done at MTSU. Truly a legend, Coach Insel. We congratulate him on 500 wins. And women's basketball, they've got a couple of big games coming up, right?
They do. They play WKU on Sunday. Nope, Saturday. Play it on Saturday. Schedule's getting moved around too much.
Yeah.
The weather's really messing this all up. They play Saturday in a doubleheader, so both men's and women's will play WKU at the Murphy Center for the 100 Mile of Hate. First one this year, then they'll go up to Western in a couple weeks.
Yes.
For a big game. That's just going to be a big day in general.
Yeah.
I was saying if they did lose to Liberty, that would be a pretty good setup because originally it was men playing in the first game at 3, women playing at 6. WKU struggled so far this year. I expect them to beat the Hilltoppers on Saturday. Because imagine going men's game, women's game, 500 celebration.
Yeah.
That would have been a long day, but that would have been a nice little setup there if they hadn't beaten Liberty.
Right. And they've got a lot of important games ahead of them, too. So excited to see what women's basketball has up ahead. And, of course, you can catch a lot of those games right here on the Good Neighbor Network. That is WGNS. Before we send it to break, I just thought of this, and I thought this would be a fun question to ask. Do you have a favorite memory of talking to Coach Insel, interviewing him, or a favorite soundbite, or something of those lines that... Okay, let's hear it then.
So, Blair Vargas this year, you called her the freshman phenom earlier.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rick is from the area, so he is involved in horse shows.
Yes.
And so, earlier this year, somebody asked a question about Blair and how important she's been and all that. And he goes, well... Blair is a stallion.
All right.
She might be 15-2, and he told us, you all might not know that. You're going to have to Google 15-2. But she's playing like she's 18 hands. And I did not know what any of that meant, so I had to Google up hands and horse terminology.
Yeah.
The math there doesn't add up. But it's the fact that asked a question, and he goes, she's a stallion.
A stallion. I mean... That's a pretty good descriptor, though. I mean, that's one that I maybe wouldn't have thought of initially, but hey, I mean, he did live in Shelbyville for a while, and if you know anything about Shelbyville, they love their horse shows out there. So I'm sure he's well acquainted as far as that goes. So,
yeah. And the 3 people in that press conference, it was me, Jake Bolden, and Emmy, who's their in-house reporter at MTSU.
Yeah.
We all just kind of looked at each other because I don't think really all of us knew what it meant either. And we were just like, yeah, Coach, okay. We'll do the math later on that. We'll figure that one out, try and understand that a little more. She is a good player, though.
Yeah. Well, she's a freshman phenom, as I said. She's a stallion, and she's going to be special for years to come. And Rick Insel will as well. Women's basketball, again, big games coming up on the horizon, and more big stuff coming up on the horizon right here on All Sports Talk. When we come back, the Super Bowl is set. We will recap Conference Championship weekend, and we'll ask Jacob what he think could happen with this year's Super Bowl. All that and more coming up on the other side of the break. Also, Blue Raider Insider Report with Chip Walters will be on the way soon. See you on the other side of the break right here on All Sports Talk.
Sign-ups are going on right now for First Shot's Winter Basketball League in Rutherford County. Coach Andy Herzer guides kids to sharpen basketball skills and build teamwork through exciting clinics and games. Since 2003, First Shot has empowered youth to grow in mind, spirit, and body. Don't miss out. Join the fun and develop lifelong skills. Visit FirstShotTN.org today and register for the Winter Basketball League. That's FirstShotTN.org.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's has a team of experienced auctioneers and realtors who make selling your property simple. Whether you're selling your home, farm, or have an estate to settle, auctions are easy, fast, and profitable. You don't have to worry about the hassle of updates, repairs, or showings, and you'll receive multiple offers on auction day.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27.5.
When illness or injury turns everyday moments into uphill battles, there are medical professionals who step in with skill, compassion, and unwavering dedication. My name is Joey P. I'm CEO of Murfreesboro Medical Clinic, and we are proud to highlight this month's MMC Heart for Healing recipient.
A grateful patient wrote about a 3-week stay at Ascension St. Thomas Rutherford Hospital. When they were finally allowed to shower, Nurse Michaela Easterwood went above and beyond, washing and styling their hair with such care that Mom had one less worry. Even when she wasn't assigned to them, Michaela used her own breaks to stop by, check in, and bring comfort. Her kindness restored dignity and hope. That's why Michaela Easterwood is our Heart for Healing.
If a doctor, nurse, or other medical professional has made a difference in your life, tell your good neighbor station, WGNS. Nominate them for the MMC Heart for Healing Award and help us recognize the medical heroes in our community. Compassion deserves recognition, and healing begins with the heart.
Next on All Sports Talk, it's the Blue Raider Insider Report with Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb & Associates.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. A big week of basketball starts tomorrow night at Murphy Center, where the Blue Raiders take on the currently undefeated Liberty Flames. Liberty 9-0 in Conference USA play. Middle involved in an 8-team race for second place right now. The Blue Raiders 5-3 overall. Missouri State just a half game ahead of them at 6-3. Middle tied with Jacksonville State, Sam Houston, Louisiana Tech, and Kennesaw State all right there in the fold as well. Coming up tonight, Jack State will be at FIU, Western Kentucky at Kennesaw State, Sam Houston at Missouri State, Delaware at New Mexico State, and Louisiana Tech at UTEP. The Lady Raiders have the midweek off, but will play on Saturday against Western Kentucky. That game has been moved from 6 o'clock until noon, so the doubleheader between Middle Tennessee and Western will now be noon for the women, 3 o'clock for the men, and put that on your calendars. No games tonight in Conference USA women's action, but tomorrow night Jack State will be at Sam Houston, Kennesaw State at Louisiana Tech. Friday, FIU at Liberty, and Missouri State will be at Delaware. Men's tennis, Eric Creevy earned his Conference USA Athlete of the Week honor, announced by the league office late yesterday. He defeated Harvard's Mark Kateri 6-2, 6-1, helping Middle with a 6-1 overall win over Harvard. And additionally, the Canadian native secured a singles win over UAB's Hohen Moret 7-5 to 6-3. The women's tennis team is back in action at home on the 31st against Northwestern. There will be an MTSU fanny pack giveaway and a ball toss. That'll be on Saturday. Then on Sunday against Lipscomb, it will be MTSU friendship bracelet giveaway. And so you've got that on your schedule, all out at the Adams Tennis Complex. All right, the Blue Raider baseball team, in these cold weather conditions, can't do a whole lot outside. It's been a lot of indoor preparation getting ready for the 2026 season. Also, the Blue Raiders preparing for the 53rd annual Groundhog Day Luncheon. That's coming up on Monday. If you haven't gotten your tickets for that yet, there are some available, 615-898-2210. Earlier today, Coach Jerry Myers was my guest on the WGNS Roundtable. He talked about what all they're doing right now to get the field prepped.
Yeah, well, it's an ongoing process. We're watching the Weather Channel all the time, trying to
trying to look ahead and see what days have the best temperatures coming up, and then a couple different things happen. We got to get the field ready to potentially get on it to inter squad to scrimmage and try to figure out which days that it looks like they're upcoming that we can get out there. And that's usually, if it's mid-30s, we're out there for some kind of work, whether or not we're going indoor cages and outdoor ground balls or full-fledged scrimmage like we did last Friday, which got pretty chilly in about the 5th inning. But we were able to get in really about 3 scrimmages last week, and then this second round here is getting delayed. But the next round of scrimmages is all going to depend on Mother Nature and how quickly we can get things to melt here in the next, hopefully, 48 hours.
If you missed any of that on Wednesday morning, you can always catch it on the podcast section of WGNSradio.com. That's it for today, folks. More coming up tomorrow here on the Big G, WGNS.
It's all sports talk from the Good Neighbor Network, FM 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, WGNSradio.com, and Big G TV.
Thank you, Chipper. This is All Sports Talk here on a Wednesday night. Dylan Simmons with you, joined by Jacob Burgess from Middle Tennessee News /MTN Sports and MTSU Sidelines. Check out his work on a lot of different platforms because you do a lot of cool stuff, whether it comes to writing, video. I'd consider you a jack of all trades, and it's a very important thing to have in the modern media landscape. But this is one of your first times on the radio, right?
It is, yeah. I did a couple color spots for Shelbyville basketball last year when they needed somebody. Besides that, I think this is probably, outside of that, I think this is the first time on the radio.
Well, you're taking to it very, very well, my friend. One thing that you probably didn't take too well, as he is a Denver Broncos fan, was the AFC Championship this past weekend. Broncos falling 10-7 to the New England Patriots. Drake May, and New England going back to the Super Bowl with former Titans head coach Mike Vrabel. So I wanted to get your reaction. This is something I forgot about until just a little bit ago, that you were a Broncos fan. So, my friend, how you feeling right now?
I was very hyped up.
Yeah.
Sean Payton did a great job in making me believe in Jarrett Stidham.
Yes.
And I still believe in Jarrett Stidham.
As you should.
3 quarters of football were played in normal weather. And then he couldn't see the defense because of the snow. And they were wearing white jerseys. And then he just threw up that ball, and I had no clue. It got picked off. That was it. It was sad.
Yes.
I was really hoping for the Jarrett Stidham, Drew Lock Super Bowl. Because obviously Donald's gotten banged up a little bit.
Yeah, that oblique injury, yeah.
And that would have been an incredible Super Bowl.
That would have been a heck of a quarterback matchup. I do feel for the Broncos. I feel for Bo Nix because, man, I think if he'd started, I think they would have won that game easily. I mean, their defense dominated New England, and their offense did a lot of good stuff against Buffalo. So it's tough, but as a Miami Hurricanes fan who watched his team lose the national championship game by 6 points due to a Carson Beck interception, right there with you. So I understand the pain right now. Before we get on to our final topic of today's show, I do want to ask you, Super Bowl prediction, Patriots, Seahawks, who you got?
Is Sam Darnold playing?
Yes, I think he's supposed to play.
He's supposed to?
Yeah. Haven't heard anything different.
Flip a coin?
Flip a coin?
Hopefully there's not tennis on that day. I might have to do an MTSU tennis broadcast, so I have no clue, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go Seahawks just because the Patriots did the Broncos dirty the most recent.
Okay. So you want the bully to get beat up. I respect it. I understand. We'll see how that goes for you. MTSU men's tennis. You've been to a few of the matches this year. They've been on a heck of a roll. I guess all of them so far. Yeah.
All the home ones.
Yeah, not all the home ones anyway. They've been on a heck of a roll recently. We talk about them a lot here on the show, and for good reason. They're still undefeated to start the year, coming off a couple of big wins against UAB and Eastern Kentucky this past weekend. MTSU now with wins over an Ivy League school and an American Conference school to start the year. So I want to get your perspective, man. They're looking good so far. As somebody who's been there and seen this team play, what are you liking from them this year?
So I have been dealing with a lot of technical issues during the actual matches. So I don't get to watch them as much as I'd like to.
Right.
But I mean, they beat a Harvard team that they played last year. The only difference was their number one. Harvard lost their number one player.
Sure.
Their one court. And they still beat them 6-1.
Yeah.
A pretty good win, too. They play these tough competitors often and early because, one, they don't play a conference schedule. Conference USA doesn't have enough teams in it to require them to play conference opponents. And considering they won 6 straight conference titles, I don't think they really need to.
Yeah, they're usually in a good position to win that.
And so they go play Vandy on Thursday. That's going to be a tough matchup. And then they go on the road to Indiana to play. And so that's going to be another tough one. But they always have these hard schedules. And this year's team made me question it more than the past few. I mean, last year's team had a decent turnover rate from 2 years ago to last year.
Right.
But this one had a major turnover rate. They only had 2 returners.
Yeah, not a lot this year. I mean, a lot of new pieces. What was it, 4 transfers and 4 freshmen, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you add up all those new pieces. We had Jimmy on the show a few weeks ago, and I talked to him about this. And it's been the process of developing him that he talked about in practice, getting them acquainted with the system, what they're trying to do, and getting the little things down right. Kind of like what Coach Insel does with the women's basketball team. It's the same kind of principle. Teams 5-0 to start the year, like you mentioned, wins over Harvard and UAB, which are teams from solid conferences. There are some programs that are big match programs, and that really goes for any sport. I think MTSU is one of those under Jimmy Borendame. What do you think it is that makes this program click against their best opponents? Do you think it's a mentality thing? Because I think it's a lot of not being afraid of who you're facing regardless of who the opponent is.
Well, they're just like the women's basketball team. They're trying to make the Sweet 16 in the tennis tournament. So NCAA tennis tournament in the spring works the same way as March Madness. Best 64 teams. It even works like the women's one where it's regionally hosted the first 2 rounds.
Sure.
And so they haven't been able to get past that round of 32. They went to Mississippi State a few years ago, lost in the round of 32. I'm trying to remember where they went last year. I think it was either back to Mississippi State or they went to Georgia Tech.
I think it was to Starkville, but I could be wrong about that.
But another one where they lost before able to make it. And so Jimmy started us before. He schedules tough competition so they can try and beat tough competition.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to beat teams that they're going to play in the second round of the tournament.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they could go play Conference USA teams and destroy them and doesn't really bring you anything. You're not facing the toughest competition. You're not facing tournament competition.
Yeah.
So when you look at their schedule, I mean, they're playing Alabama. They go to Oklahoma State, which is going to be a really good team. Utah's always competitive. I think he has 3 Ivies on the season.
That sounds right, yeah. Because I think it's Harvard, Princeton, and is it Bucknell? Or?
No, then they have Yale.
Yale, that's
and
what
then
it is,
they
Yale.
go play Cornell. So they have 4 teams.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? They play Princeton. They're going to play Pepperdine. Yale, like we mentioned, South Florida. Up to Cornell. Tulane and Memphis are both respectable American teams.
Yeah.
And so they're playing tough competition because they're trying to make it to that Sweet 16 round.
Yeah, and Jimmy talked about this with the scheduling mentality on the show a few weeks ago. They want to get the players prepared for those big-time matchups in a tournament setting and just get their team better overall as the season moves on. So you're going to play the best of the best and see what you have in store, and a lot of times they end up coming out of the better end of that. So men's tennis certainly set up for a good position. Looking at the roster this year, you talked about a lot of the new players that have come in. Have there been any specific guys that have stuck out to you so far?
So far, Eric Crive and then Antoine Mayor.
Yeah.
Eric, obviously you heard Chip say it, just got voted Conference Player of the Week.
Yep.
On the tennis side. Came back in a 10-point tiebreak for the third set the other day.
Yes.
For a big win. Antoine playing kind of in that 4th spot. Another one to where they're also both freshmen.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing about it.
I know you mentioned Freddie Murray before and Bertrand Duran.
Yeah.
Those are senior level guys. I mean,
sure.
Bertrand's a junior, Freddie's a senior. They've played at this level for a while. And so when 2 of your 6 players are freshmen, and they're playing not freshmen, sorry. Eric's a sophomore.
Yeah,
played last year at Kentucky.
Sure, yeah.
Gotta have the facts right.
Yes.
But they're young guys, and so they're picking up quality wins to start the season. It's good for the program to where you can count on these young guys to pick up court wins for you when you need them.
Yeah. Those are guys that more often than not you can depend on. And that's the great thing about MTSU men's tennis. Really quickly before we go, I do want to shout out that MTN Sports, which you are the director of, has a live tennis broadcast that you can check out on GoBlueRaiders.com. And you guys try to be at every home tennis match. And I've been on the broadcast before in years past, and I can say you guys put in a lot of hard work to make it happen. And it's a great place to check out live tennis coverage. And of course, the tennis tournament's also going to be on ESPN Plus this year. And people, they shouldn't forget this fact, Jacob. Men's and women's tennis tournament for Conference USA, both of those will be in Murfreesboro this season.
Yep, something the conference just started doing this year, and MTSU, obviously with a great outdoor facility, 8 courts they're able to use. It's going to be a hectic 4 days for that, though, because I know on the women's side, they have, I want to say it's 10 teams on the women's side.
That sounds right. Yeah, I think it's 10 teams.
And then the men's is, I think the men's are up to 5 or 6 this year.
5, I think.
I know the previous years they were at 4.
Right.
And so if you have the men's tournament, that's 4 teams. That's easy.
Yeah.
That's, 2 days. But now with both men's and women's, it's gonna be a long schedule.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a different story, but it's going to be exciting. Again, both of those, to my knowledge, will be on ESPN Plus, so excited for that. And make sure, again, to check out MTN Sports live tennis broadcast. They're at every single home match. You can check that out at GoBlueRaiders.com. And check out Jacob's work. He does tremendous stuff for MTSU Sidelines, writes several articles for women's basketball and other sports, and he's also the MTN Sports Director in charge of putting together a lot of the great sports content that you see from MTN Sports. Jacob, my man, thank you for coming on, and feel free to come back sometime.
Thank you, Dylan. I was trying to get on so much sooner in the year, too.
I know. That's my bad. That's my bad.
You got to keep bringing me back.
I'll bring you back. I'll bring you back. We'll put you in the rotation.
We got to see what the viewership numbers look like after this.